So, hi everyone. This is day 2 of our 3 days boot camp on how to get a $250,000 plus job in AI, data, and cloud in less than 6 months, even as a beginner. And when I mean say beginner is yes, it'll help if you're from IT, but on different domains or non-IT, then there will be a different route. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Today is day 2. And tomorrow is where I'm going to go a little bit deeper onto the roadmap as well. Now, before we move forward, as I said, very quick housekeeping in terms, or quick housekeeping is the recording is available, or sorry, not available. We're recording the session. So in case if you miss out anything, don't need to stress out. If there's any problem, we'll be sharing the recording. Recording will be available on the page, which will explain you in a minute. Also, it's available on our Facebook group as well. Make sure that you watch it one more time. If you've already done, fine. If not, watch it one more time because you'll pick up some of the golden nuggets from there as well. Now, as I said, if you're tuning, just tell me which country you're from and what is the time, approximate time on your time zone, so I can see what time everyone is joining and what works better in future as well. I'm basically based in UK, but from last 1 month or so, I'm in India. Prior to that, I was in Dubai. I was roaming around, and so I just love to know where is everyone tuning in from. Would love to see a little bit or about uh brilliant. Okay, so I can see. Oh, Bhanu is also from India, 9 p.m. I think you said Bhanu, which place in India? Jay is in US EST time zone. London 3:30, brilliant IO. Which part of okay, you're in London. Pakistan, okay, it should be at then 9:30 Ahmed. USA at 11:30. Ma Macedonia, okay, brilliant. Even USA, Gurgaon, US, Atlanta, US, brilliant. Okay, guys, a lot of guys from US, India mix, very little from UK, which is fine. So, okay, so good to know about where the audience is. Now, if you watch the recording or if you're available, what one thing you learned? Just one thing, one of the biggest takeaway from you or aha moment. So that will help me to double down or pin down on that, or maybe do something which I think was the the good aha moment. Or what did you learn? Just one thing you've learned here, so that I understand a little bit more about you guys. So put in the chat window, 250K salary. So, so Bhanu, is it possible to earn 250K salary? Is it not possible? Is this or something? So what exactly was within the 250K salary? Ahmed is saying instead of cert, do project. Absolutely, you're spot on. Now, I'm not against certification, but if you have to pick between certification and hands-on lab or the project work, always focus on project first. Become expert and then do the certification. Certification, again, just to give a context of, let's suppose if you have two person, one have done the certification but not done the hands-on lab or project, other person have done the project but not hands-on labs. Other person have done the certification but not hands-on lab or project. Who will you hire in that? So Ahmed, thank you very much. MLOps, AI ops is viable to do with no coding. Absolutely. Brilliant work. Absolutely. Spot on. It's totally viable. Good one. Focusing on LinkedIn or resume more. Absolutely, Deepak. If you're not getting resume not being picked up, not just focusing on resume, but LinkedIn. And today we're going to go deeper on that. So guys, I need a few more aha moments. Or did you attend? If you don't attend, didn't attend, just totally fine. Just write down and say didn't attend. So I can see Cliff. I've not heard anything from here. Jorge, Ivan, Fatem, Jay, Kunjal, Marilyn, Naveen, Sheila, everyone, like, please let me know so that I understand on here. So what was the one big aha moment? I'm going to look at no need for cert. Yes, not for job. It's always, you can always add that later. Absolutely brilliant, super. Okay. Now, make sure that if you have not downloaded the workbook, because we're going to today, there's a LinkedIn and resume. Some part of resume we're going to pick today, and the LinkedIn. So there's a bonus, I think bonus 2 or bonus 3, we'll see that inside. Check out on kanoacademy.com for such workbook if you have not downloaded it. And also, did you submit? I think I saw a couple of assignments. So we're going to do, my team is working, I'll be working closely with me. So we'll be reviewing those assignment. Assignment was to prepare your resume. So identify, first of all, the job description that you're interested in. And then based on that, prepare the resume and the LinkedIn. And then if you've done it, watch today's session and then go back and say if you have to change something on those two parts as well. So, and again, if you've not done it, just say that I'm promising that I'll do it, because as I said, you can attend these sessions, but if you don't act, no one can help you. I have to mean, yeah, okay, yes. No problem, Jay. I've gone through, I've thought it, no, so it started yesterday. Make sure that you watch the recording, please. Okay. We have to download a workbook. Cliff, it's on, if you look at the footer of this screenshot, ketonacademy.com/workbook. It was given in an email as well. Okay, thank you. My team has done. I'll do the assignment today. Great, Melin. Thank you very much. Munshi, no worries. If you have resume and LinkedIn ready, though, it should be based on the job description, Ajay. Don't make the mistake. We'll see that some of these things brilliant. Okay, so let me move forward as well onto the assignment part. Okay, now today you're in for a treat because I bought an expert who is working with Microsoft, but he has gone through lots of ups and downs, and he'll share his own story. I'll invite him. First, we'll do the part about LinkedIn, sorry, the resume, and then I'll bring him about he has applied hundreds and hundreds of jobs, and he has got like multiple rejections, but the good point is it's also now knows in and out what works, what doesn't work. And the good point is he's also working with Microsoft and he's tons and tons of the years of experience that will be very, very useful. So stay tuned. My only humble request is that please don't bother him too much outside this class, because I think I bring all these experts. And if you start ping-ponging them one-on-one directly, avoid them if you can. If you need help, there's a committee. I'll be more than happy to bring him back again in future sessions as well. But please be careful with and appreciate the time as well. He'll be opening up everything that he knows and share. So in for a treat as well. So stay tuned. He's in the class as well. Make sure you keep posting your questions because he's behind the scene answering and fielding those questions and answering, and you can go a little bit deeper once you need. Once you want to speak to him as well. We'll be opening up some doors here for him to speak. Okay, now I'll do very quick recap. Those who have not watched, go and watch the session. But then for those, just for continuity, I'll go very fast. But if you have any questions, do let me know about that as well from a recap. So this is what we looked yesterday. We said if you begin with the top, AI, generative AI, machine learning, we are trying to do it on cloud because that has an added advantage for multiple reasons. But that's not just AWS and Azure cloud, but also other things like Python, AI for product manager, program managers, RAG, retrieval augment generation, LangChain, LangGraph, LangFlow, machine learning, agentic AI, machine learning operations, prompt engineering. There's a lot more new things are coming. Now, one thing you need to take away from this is you don't need to learn all of them in one go. Pick up the most important thing that our companies are asking in the job description and focus on those things on a very high level so that you can talk. And then you can learn on the job. Once you get the confidence, you can learn and become expert on the job. So one key takeaway. Second thing, we talked about data. On data, you have both cloud as well as on-premise. There's also big data and a lot of other things we discussed as well. We also then looked at below that, there's a cloud, which is underlying storage, underlying infrastructure, where you have network, storage, compute, and so on. And then you have on side, you have machine learning operations, AI ops, DevOps, and there are tons and tons of jobs that doesn't need any coding or programming or development thing. Now, if you're a developer, you can do more in a developer kind of a role or the programming and coding, but you can do a lot of other jobs as well, which doesn't have coding or programming we'll be talking about. We spoke about why should we learning, about the growth, and it's going to grow exponentially as well. We also looked at bedrock. This is a 30,000-foot view. Tomorrow, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. And this is tomorrow, you don't want to miss it because that's where I'm going to give you the exact learning roadmap, depending on your complete beginner. You know a little bit. You want to go fast, you want to go slow. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 directions because someone wants to get a job within probably 2 to 3 months, another path. Someone who has a little bit more time, they want to go take it slow, maybe 6 months. Some might have a little bit further down and say, I don't care about right now, I just want to learn 9 months. I can give you all of those, but I think try to do it as quickly as possible so that when I say without overwhelming yourself, without stressing yourself, so that you start getting results. We'll talk about that tomorrow, which you don't want to miss it. We also looked at SageMaker briefly about machine learning, and then the certifications on AI and machine learning from an AWS context point of view. We also looked at from Azure. You have Azure AI Foundry, you have Azure Machine Learning Studio, and then certifications on AI and ML. We also looked at RAG, LangChain, and then other things related to data certifications on AWS and Azure Cloud. And then I said about cloud from a cloud infrastructure point of view, 2 cloud providers, AWS and Microsoft Azure. And then demand for multi-cloud, why everyone is moving towards multi-cloud. And this is something which I missed yesterday. So certifications, you go for, from an AWS point of view, cloud practitioner. Solution architect associate is a very most in demand. I've seen that will cover you most of the things. So if you do this solution architect associate, they'll give you the good idea about all the services, and then DevOps and then security. And then from a Microsoft Azure point of view, you begin with fundamental, and depending on, you can go for administrator or developer if you're on the domain, or you can go for security. And then if you're an architect, you can go for solution architect, or if you have to go into DevOps or domain, you can go for DevOps as well. So these are the things we probably more than happy to explain if you need later. And then again, cloud job roles I mentioned. There's a free community where you go to k20academy.com/free community. There are a few of you guys are there, so I'll explain you how to go there. So simply go to k21academy.com/free community. It's absolutely free. It's a portal which we have free community where people can come, hang out, talk. I think you might have to register. It's absolutely free, just email address, and then go to the classroom here. And from this classroom, if you go down here, AI, ML, this is yesterday I said, and then you click here and then go for all these different type of job roles. It's worth looking at that point. Okay. With that, I also mentioned about DevOps, which is CI/CD. But then next about is CI/CD for MLOps, which is about CT, which is continuous training, added model. So CI, CT, and CD. Do those things as well. There's tools available, so work on those MLOps as well. And these are some of the tools we talked about, machine learning and machine learning operations point of view. But this is certification again from a DevOps point of view to go in DevOps, MLOps. We'll talk about that in future. And then high paying job as well. So we are beginning with how to get a 250,000 plus salary on AI data cloud, going from not confident to apply. I want to apply, but I'm nervous. Will companies hire me? I don't know what to learn. I'm not confident to apply. Or I have a little bit of confidence, but I'm applying, but not getting interview calls. Or a handful of you guys, you're getting interview calls, but no job offer. So we'll take you from there to make you something you become confident. So by tomorrow evening, you will have full clarity on what to do so that you learn and implement and you become confident that so that you get multiple interview calls. And today we are going to fix this multiple interview calls part, and then how to do multiple job offers. We'll talk about today a little bit, but tomorrow we'll wrap it up on how to get what to do, what mistakes you might be doing so that it's costing you the job. Some of these things we'll talk about today as well. So learning, project-based learning, certifications, to making ATS compliant resume, to LinkedIn optimization, to doing mock interviews, especially tech and behavioral, and then negotiating the salary. This is all overall the whole objective of, so that you get full clarity. Is it all clear to everyone, guys? Just put in the chat window. Am I making sense? Is it all clear to you so far? Just put in the chat window. So far, so good. Yes, brilliant. Brilliant. I also want to do, if you're multitasking, come back here, paste pictures, screen here. Okay. So as I said, these, I'm not going to repeat them. SJ, Shrija, and go and watch day one. Shavik, Hari. These are all results, Kennedy. And these are guys like you. Couple of months back, they were exactly where you were. So have confidence, have trust. If they can do it, you can do as well. I'm going to add one or two to inspire you again, just to go, as I said, is Yash, LA, based in Los Angeles. I just received an offer to join a bank in LA as a data engineer. So if you are a data engineer, believe you or want to become a data engineer, you can do that as well. Okay, another one, Vaishali. So Vaishali, I think she was a little bit hesitant. She lost a job and she went, I think, don't remember exactly, yeah, but then landed a job just under 30 days after, as well. So these are the results you can do if you have the right guidance as well. And another one, which I'm going to say, secure a job as a software engineer. Another one here, this is going to see a little bit later. Joby, I think I mentioned about if you have the right thing. And today we are going to cover that particular part, which is about if you're applying for the jobs, why you're not getting interview calls. Another one here from India, joining as a L&T services, which is a company program manager based out of Chennai as well. Now, this is another important one. Anyone who has been applied or out of job for a long, Sean was there. I think I recently accepted, I was employed for last 7 months. So he's been unemployed for last 7 months, recently accepted a well-paid job offer on AWS Cloud Architect, Nazif as well. Now, again, this is all, as I said, don't feel intimidated. Take that as a dose of inspiration and make sure that you work and act on what we are learning here on this, so that you get results like that as well. And I have tons and tons of guys success stories like that. You can check out more of these a little bit later. The links are there below, so you can check out some of these stories. So get inspiration. Anytime you feel deflated, anytime you feel defeated, go back and say, if someone else can do it, I can do as well. So now, towards end, I'm going to talk about a little bit mentorship program, going coaching and working one-on-one closely with me and my team. So look at that. We'll be talking about towards end. There's only 21 seats because I'll be working very closely on these guys. I've been doing it and I'll be personally coaching and mentoring. So it's only 21 seats we limit so that we pay special attention. We'll talk about that towards end. It's only application only. We don't accept everyone and anyone because I think for me, I've worked very, very hard to go from, I think, 91% success rate to 93% success rate. And how to further enhance that 93% success rate, which means if you do the work, out of 100 guys, 93 get the result. Now I'm trying to reduce that to from or increase that from 93 to 95. That's why we're only selecting the specific guys as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit late towards end as well. So with that, let's focus and pay attention and focus because today is going to be very, very action packed. So pay special attention as well. So just type in the chat window and say you're ready and put in the chat, say ready. Just type word R, ready. Put the chat window saying that you are ready. Allow to see a little bit more. Great, great, great. So we'll help you guys. Okay, brilliant, ready, superb. Okay, so as I said, if you're not getting interview call, and this is a point you need to focus, how many of guys you think or have applied not getting interview call? That's what we're going to fix. Even if you're getting interview call, if you do this, your interview rate will double down almost. So for me, I have almost 90 to 95% success rate, which means if I apply for the interview, I'll get an interview call. If I'm applying for a job, there's a 90 to 95% chance I'll get interview calls. Out of 10 application apply, 9 or probably 9.5 I get the results as well for sure. Guys, if you can stop drawing and my team can clean it up. Raise, I don't know. Okay, no. Okay, brilliant. Sorry, thanks. Okay, so as I said, let me, that's what happens. Okay. Okay, so in typical, there are two things that you do. First is that you do fix your resume. And in order for you to fix resume, I need my active participation. There are 7 jobs. One is, for example, this is just an example, data architect, cloud engineer, data engineer, platform engineer, AWS DevOps engineer, AWS DevOps engineer, and AWS DevOps engineer. Out of the 7, how many jobs, how many resumes you'll apply? How many job resumes you'll apply for these jobs? So there are 7. 4 looks different. Bottom 3 looks pretty much 5, 6, 7 all DevOps engineer, DevOps dev engineer. This one is a little bit AWS Azure DevOps. This is senior AWS DevOps. How many jobs you'll apply? Is it how many resumes you'll send it? One for like, is it one single for all? 2, 3? How many resumes you'll be? 4, 2, 4, 3, 3, 5. Okay. And I think the answer is correct. Absolutely, someone who said 7. Okay. Each job description different. And that's why I think those who have just said 1 or 2, I think you need definitely to fix it. 4, okay, but still I will change, even if it's like 3 word, 4 word on the top of the line, I'll change. If it's a senior DevOps engineer, I will write down here senior DevOps engineer, AWS DevOps engineer. If it's Azure AWS, I'll write Azure AWS DevOps. If it's a cloud AWS DevOps, I can give it this one, but this one is again a normal DevOps. This is senior DevOps. I need to highlight what an employee is, and that's how mine it should be. And 7, so the good job. I think you should be applying. And if you go inside the job description, also you will see the content or the job description is different. Even the title might be same, the job description might be different. So please don't make mistakes. Spend at least 2-3 hours every job description. The resume update, especially the first page, change it as per the job description. Okay, does it make sense? Anyone have any confusion about that? Please don't do that. Don't use, because that's where it's costing you one. So do that. Number 1 is about applying for that. Now I'm going to give you very simple and sounds easy, but then not a lot of guys mention that as well. And this is going to be some guys it might be simple, but some guys I still see people making that and don't follow that. So first of all, statement, and on top you say whatever you write. Instead of writing very, very generic statement like seeking a challenging role in a dynamic company where I can utilize my skill, means nothing. It's like all looking very generic things. You can change something like data scientist with these many years of experience. So whatever, now in this case, what you're going to do, whatever they've asked in the job, you write down that particular skill and say with whatever. So for example, AWS senior DevOps or AI architect, that with that many years of experience building whatever you want to build, and then what exactly you've done in that, for what company and what measurable, that looks much more concrete for as well. That's number one point. Okay. Number two is soft skills section. Now try rather writing hardworking, team player, these are all looks like cliche things. So do a little bit more numbers, like lead a cross-functional team for two of five with credit this that particular numbers. So what that has impacted on, so look some quantifiable numbers on that point. Another one here is oh, this is, I see a lot of guys do that mistake, which is they write a lot of unrelated, nothing related to that particular job, add it. You can keep it very old if you've done something very, very past, but last 3-4 years, don't write anything. Last, especially 5-6 years, write all the relevant work which you have done related to the job description. Another one which you have seen, noticed. Now, also don't write very, very long paragraph, which is easy. And then also point it like in terms of, again, numbers, quantifiable things, which can mean something to the person who's reading rather than just a normal thing. Another one is about, rather than, I said, rather than writing out, again, these are very simple, sound simple, but not a lot of guys follow that as well. Reference available on request, rather than saying actually what exactly you received, some kind of recognition, some type of, these matter a lot as well. Now, again, as I said, this is just a very basic things, but not a lot of guys do that as well. So please don't make the mistake as well that. Okay. Now I'm going to go some tips. I'm going to see whether you're implementing those or not implementing. So write down and say, as we cover tips, say I'm doing it or not doing it. So first is prepare resume as per the job description. So write down tip one, following, not following. I just want to see how many are following, how many are not following. So those who have said anything below 7, write down and say tip one, not following. Tip one, not following, so that you know where the things is, and nothing wrong in accepting that, but make sure that will tell you not to repeat. And it might take just 1 hour to change that particular title. But so let me see if you're actually doing and actually taking an action on here. Following. If you're following, brilliant. Okay, good. If you're following, yes, following tip one, brilliant. Well done. Okay, now that's tip number one. Now, tip number two is ask for the chat GPT a sample CV. And again, don't rely on that. So what you need to do is, again, there's a job description. So you say that, hey, help me to prepare a resume or CV based on the below job description in this country, and you give out all the job description as it is. It'll dump out a lot of things. So you will get a lot of idea from that particular, like based on the job description, based on the chat GPT. Don't use as it is. Now you change based on what you think is right and appropriate on that particular bit. Now, if you're not comfortable if you've not implemented it, I still want you to write it down with a promise to yourself that in next 1, 2, 3, 4 days or 7 days, you're going to do some hands-on lab on that particular part, or do some work, actually going to implement something. We're going to see a little bit later. So for example, they're asking about Terraform and cloud formation, and they're talking in the context of AWS or Azure. So I'm going to go and do a very simple use case about creating a basic infrastructure using Terraform, which is for automation, or using cloud formation or ARM template or something related to that, so that when it comes to interview, at least you can talk something about it. So are you collecting all the data which is required as per the job description and writing in your CV? And even if you don't know, make yourself a promise that I'm going to learn, and that is how you learn very, very quickly. Are you doing that, or will you promise that I'm going to do that? So I'm doing that, or I'll do that. Tip number two. Correct, Chandan. So for every different job profile, do need a different version. Absolutely right. So now what happens is sometimes there will be slight subtle change. I'm not saying to change completely, but very subtle change, subtle points that you need to put in there. Absolutely. I'll do that. I'll starting to. Yeah, great. Thank you. Okay, next we are going to go is make resume ATS compliant. Now there are tools available. I think we'll list down. So some are free, some are paid. I think JobScan, a couple of there are there. Those who are part of our program, those who are members, you just reach out to team. They will tell you the gaps in your ATS compliant or not, but you can take a third-party service on. But with us, it's absolutely free. So reach out to support on if you need help in terms of making ATS compliant. ATS means application tracking system. When a resume goes, before it hits to an individual, it goes through an automated system to say score between 1 to 100. And then scoring will be based on that. They will say, oh, should I pass it to the technical guy or not? So make sure you do your resume ATS compliant check which is very, very important. Now, tip number 3 is remove unnecessary things. I've kept repeating multiple times. Now, a lot of guys, especially if you're a project manager, but you're applying for more on a technical side roles, or vice versa, or you're doing something which you've done, for example, Word, or something which is not relevant, remove that necessary unnecessary skills as well. Because as I said, we review hundreds of resume every week, and then we see that a lot of unnecessary clutter. So, for example, it's a delivery solution architect or cloud engineer, data engineer role, and you're applying and you've done a little bit of PMP certification. Now, don't put that PMP certification, but then will give me, do you want to become project manager, or you're applying for this particular role as well? And then final tip is add relevant project. And I'll explain you what I mean by add relevant project. If you've not done it, for example, if the job says, in this case example, job says Azure, and it talks about Azure Kubernetes Service, AKS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what are the projects related to Azure Kubernetes Service. Similarly, if the job is related to AI project and they're talking about RAG and LangChain, so then do and write down a project about Lang and LangChain. If they're talking about data engineering and the migration of data from maybe one platform to another platform, data migration. So write down that particular project, highlight that maybe on the first page itself, saying that this is something you've done. And so how many of you guys, I think because of the time, I'm not going to cover what is Kubernetes, but I'll keep very quickly high level. How many of you guys want to learn very briefly about what is Kubernetes and containers and Kubernetes? Or maybe because of time, I'm going to, no, so I'm going to skip that because of the time, but we'll cover that. I'll record a separate video. I'll talk about that Kubernetes, what that Kubernetes is and how to do it as well. But if you're doing this Kubernetes thing, these are some of the real-time projects you can do on Azure. So if you're learning Azure, I'm just taking an example. We could talk in the context of AWS, Azure, or data or AI. I've just picked up Azure. And tomorrow I'm going to cover day 3. I'm going to cover a lot more about these projects as well. So these are some of the projects, and identify what are the Kubernetes related projects you do. And then with the Kubernetes, there are some additional integrations like integrate that with Entra ID security, configure role-based access control, add those for enhance for giving the confidence to the client as well. So do those projects write down. So let me know if you're writing the project relevant to the project to the profile or the job description. Are you doing that or not? Just put the chat window and let me know on here. Are you doing this particular point, which is about adding a result? So in this case, for example, for Kubernetes AKS, you could have written and saying, I've deployed a scalable web application with Azure Kubernetes Service, and write down all the things that you have done, actually done it. Or maybe implemented a multi-region Kubernetes cluster with Microsoft Azure, or containerizing the application, deploying that containerized application, or did a CI/CD implementation using Azure Kubernetes Service as well. Okay, yeah. So do let me know. As I said, I've only got 2 requests. Put in the chat window, guys, while I take a sip of water, and say, either say, I'm doing that already, or I promise to do it. Great, thank you. And again, nothing wrong. I did not do that earlier. I was just having 1 or 2 set of CVs when I started. I'm talking about 2011, 12. Thank you. Okay, Jay, we can do the executive role. So again, I'm picking a very good point, Jay. So if you have executive, write down what role you want, and there are projects related to that. So whatever executives write down, that's exactly what I wanted to know. So write down, there's a group, or hit into the community, Facebook community, and what type of roles that you're doing. We'll do project related to yours. And you may not be able to execute that project or show it but say, in executive level, what projects you might have managed, you have done something you must have done, or what job description demands, you write about that as an experience. AI architect, brilliant. So we'll talk about that as well. So okay, brilliant. Now that's tip number 1, and tip number 6 is about ask ChatGPT for the sample resume. And when say that, you can ask, even say, help me to prepare my resume below the job description which I mentioned earlier. So splash out to this and change it based on accordingly, but make sure that you spend good 2-3 hours on that resume before you send to the client. Now, that's not enough. And I can tell you, I think 50% of the guys are not doing this task. So very, very important tip number 7, which is now you need to go and identify who is the recruiter. So this is an example of screenshot. I find out the guy name is, because you have the name. Most of the jobs have that, especially on LinkedIn. But if not, you can find out. I think 60 or 70% job descriptions have the person who's advertised. So in this case, Steve Daly from SR2. What I'm going to do is I just go onto LinkedIn and search for Steve Daly from SR2, and you can search and you get connect to this. So then you can find out and you can connect on that recruiter on LinkedIn. Now, when you're connecting, you also need to send a connection request. So again, ask ChatGPT to say, create a message on a LinkedIn connection request for Steve Daly, explaining why I'm his best candidate for this role. Keep it short, crisp, concise, and then you can change these wording, whatever how you want to present yourself as well, and give out the introduction. You can change, play with it, what you feel comfortable, and then identify him on LinkedIn and hit him, and then reach out to him. Now, so this is very, very important tip number 7, which is connecting to the recruiter employers. And then you have more and more connection requests over the next 1 or 2 months. You probably by reaching out every day, 1 or 2 requests, at least minimum, or two job descriptions, and two of the probably 7, 15 easily you'll hit out recruiters as well. Now, don't stop there. Now, most of these recruiters get busy, or they might be dealing with hundreds of other guys, employers. Maybe a couple of days later, do a very soft tone follow up. Again, very important follow up and say, so you can again ask ChatGPT or other tools, create a follow up message if you're not comfortable, and then splash out the commands for you. And so, for example, in this case, I'm requesting, I've sent a connection request for a resume for a AI consultant job being advertised. Again, I don't want to sound desperate. So also tell it, keep it short, to the point, doesn't look desperate, and shows my credibility in this field. I'm done this work, and do that. And it'll give it something comfortable, fine, change it, use your own tone, change it, and then hit and do follow up. And then a couple of days later, just say gentle reminder or something like that. Now, again, as I said, don't feel you. I think that trick works, and they will keep you in their mind as well. Okay, so this is exactly what um, uh, I've been doing, and it's working like a game changer for me. Or worked for a game changer. I don't do it anymore now. I'm in touch with a lot of employers and recruiters, but follow this. Now, out of these 9 tips, which one you think you remember or going to do that as well? And which one you liked out of this? Put in the chat window and let me know. Um, I'll do that. I have not done any project. So, Malin, yeah. So you have to do something. Show them, an employer, what work you have done as well. I like number 9. Great. Thanks. Mid-management PM, Antonia. So write down what questions comes to mind, what is not available right now, so we can create content related to you and you get a little bit more value out of it, because I've not considered everyone and what the background is. Okay. Uh, guys, put it in the chat window and say, I will wait for, and say which one you're going to implement here. Put it in the chat window and let me know which one you're implementing here. Because as I said, I want you to commit to say at least one thing I want to do over the next 1 or 2 weeks. And it's 0, write down none. It's okay. It's okay. Just try none. Okay. Connecting with recruiters and follow up. Brilliant. Okay. I'll follow up. Okay, great. So I think this follow up is people don't do, which totally makes. And this is exactly what I said is just to say, Amol, profile shortage for interview. And again, when started not getting interview calls and so on, and then now refining my experience to align with the potential roles can be invaluable. More enthusiastic and optimistic about applying for the new opportunities. And now my profile has been shortlisted for 2 organizations is under screening. Imagine now you know that you're being your profile is shortlisted. Now you can work on going a little bit deeper, hands-on level project related to that. And now again, I'm not saying that you might get a job, but at least now you're getting the direction, and now you'll be much more open to do those hands-on lab or activities and project work as well. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Now, those are members. We run a weekly multiple resume clinic. In fact, I think Shubhangi and Atisha are here and we bring other experts. You'll see one of those experts here on here. You'll see Gokul, and we have multiple such experts. Again, as I said, is please use his time wisely. So we run these resume clinics and then also a job prep clinic. These are 2 different things. One is to fix resume, and second is to help in preparing for the job that you're looking for. So make sure you get use of that as well. Now, for some of you, you might do all these things and still crickets. And it has happened with some of the students who came. And it was really, it was a little bit challenging for me to understand at that point why it's happening. Everything looks good on resume. And then we reached out. So we asked, hey, reach out to potential employers and say, what is the reason they couldn't pick you? They didn't pick your resume. And that was a little bit surprise to me. We're going to cover in the second phase of that part. What was the reason for that? Why you've done all these things, still not getting interview call. It baffled me for almost probably a couple of weeks. But then we reached out to the actual employers and recruiters and say, hey, we sent this resume, not me, I mean the clients, and ask them to go and reach out, and we get to know what that point we'll go to cover in second part. With that, I'm going to introduce Gokul. I think, as I said, he works with Microsoft. He has done applied hundreds and hundreds of jobs. Let him tell the story on him. He's here, and about him here, he works on with Microsoft. And again, he's talking about tech roles, but he have done other things as well. And if you have other roles, listen to this because that's applicable whether it's tech role, leadership role, whatever junior role. These things applicable as well. So with that, Gokul, over to you.
Thank
I'll
you,
stop
Atul.
sharing my screen and
Sure,
yeah, take it all
I'll
yours.
take over.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here, Atul. And I actually come from a technical support background. Okay, I'm not a coder. I'm not a solution architect. I was not a solution architect. I still don't know much of coding. So I worked as a tech support engineer almost for a decade when I started my career because I didn't have any skills. Okay, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just trying everything: Excel, SQL database, cloud, and all kinds of stuff because there was no proper guidance or mentorship, or that was major blocker because you see somebody becoming a business analyst, you're like, okay, I'm going to learn Excel and SQL, and then oh, that's not the thing, and now everybody are becoming a server engineers, mainframe engineers. So, and the starting salary is good, so I want to become a server engineer. And but still, because you're not starting from the basics or you don't have the fundamentals, no matter whatever the number of hours you put in, it was not materializing because the problem was I was lacking the right path that I'm supposed to be taking for learning, as well as the basics. That was the most important thing that I've realized. And I've been with cloud for the last 6 years now. I've worked on AWS. I was working for AWS solution architect in my previous job, not for an AWS partner. Currently, I work for Microsoft as a lead consultant. So I love mentoring people. I love working with K21, or I generally do that even with school kids and college kids, the final year students. So that because if I had a good mentor when I was at the beginning of my career, probably that I didn't have to waste almost, like, I won't say waste, but probably things would have been a little bit better. So that's the whole point. Now, I have come prepared with some like common scenarios, okay, that didn't work for me, and whatever happened in my interviews. I have given interviews for Google twice. I reached like fifth round, but I couldn't clear after that. Amazon, I think I gave like two or three good interviews, and some got pasted also. But I had applied for more than like 50 to 100 times in Amazon. And Microsoft, it did click. So the things that didn't work out for me, I'm going to share it, and what actually worked in Microsoft and my previous job as a AWS solution architect, I'll share that also. So then, if anybody has a question, they can definitely post it in the chat or unmute if they can, and then we can have an interaction. So I'll share my screen. You're on mute, Atul.
No, I think sorry for. So I think you're very valid point. So guys, it's we learn a lot from others' mistakes. So pay this, and again, as I said, is I want you to focus on what didn't work and why you think it didn't work, and then also what worked will be which will be good key takeaway. Now, guys, I'm going to
Yeah,
take because of the time, I'm going to take maybe one or two questions. So if you have a specific question for Gokul, write down. I'm going to pick, as I said, because of the time, I'm going to pick only one or two questions, and then post all the questions. We'll be collecting and answering them as well. So if you have a specific question, Gokul will pick maybe one or two based on that. But as I said, Gokul, all again over to you. I think I said these things, use them because you learn gold nuggets from them, guys. Over to you, Gokul. Yeah,
thank you. Um, Now I'm gonna while I share the screen, I'll just stop the camera because I'm
yeah.
going to be
Sorry.
looking into another screen. So just to keep it simple. Okay, please confirm, are you able to see my screen
Yes,
in full
yes,
screen?
yes.
9 reason why people fail in the interviews.
Yeah.
Right. So, guys, when we talk about failing an interview, it's not literally that you go for an interview and then somebody just takes you for a ride. Okay. Literally, I'm starting from the time, like in the chat, I'm an executive, but every job is a tech job. And I am trying to switch from a non-technical background to a technical job, but I don't know, like everything what they're expecting is at least 3 to 6 years of experience or 2 to 3 years of experience minimum. But I don't have the experience because unless you give me the job, I'm not going to get the experience. And for me to get a job, you're asking for the experience. So it's like a paradox. Like come with the experience, or but I'm not going to give you the job, or the other way around. So first thing is we don't have the right job, or what do we do? Like I'm not finding the right set of skills what I have, and I'll have to address it. The second thing is you do have a lot of jobs. Okay, you keep applying left, right, and center. 100 jobs you apply, 50 jobs you apply, all over. Whatever that you find as solution architect or project manager, program manager, architect, engineer, whatever. But you hardly get less than 5% response. Like 100 jobs you apply, sometimes you get zero, or you apply for 150 and then you get three calls, and then they say like, no, we your the budget is not as much as your salary. The third thing is we get the interviews because we have some skills which are demanding, like Kubernetes. Atul did mention about Kubernetes. That's actually the the skill set that is in demand since last 3 years, since 2022, 23. Kubernetes is actually one of the highest paid jobs in the tech industry. And there is a reason why it is highest paid job, because the learning curve is so steep. Okay, you can't just sit overnight and learn. And okay, I know Kubernetes just like how I learn a software. You can't do that. And the third problem is that you are good at your job and you are really good only with that part. If you're a Dell tech support engineer, you know how to fix your Dell laptop, but that's the only thing you know. It's not a transferable skill. If you know how to fix something to the operating system, Linux, then that's a transferable skill. I can move from Dell to HP, Microsoft, or anywhere. As long as the skill is valid, wherever I go, it makes sense. But if I know only to fix a Dell computer, because that's what I was trained on, that's another problem. And you try to sell that when they don't even need those kind of skill sets. And the last 2 points are about hands-on experience, guys. I cannot stress enough on the importance of doing projects or showcasing your skills, um, and letting them know that it's not just you know what you're talking. Even if they ask you to do it, you should be able to do it, because the confidence, actually, the bump that you get on your confidence in the interviews, if you have done something hands-on, nothing beats it. Yes, Atul.
Sorry, are doing any, or is it just
No,
a
no, no. I'll just move
okay?
the screen. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
like
single. Okay, I thought. Okay, yeah, 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 okay. No, no, no. That's fine.
yeah,
Okay.
it's all
No, I thought the other points you're making, there was a
mm,
points we're doing. That's fine. No, which is
yeah.
fine. Now, go ahead, please. Over
So
to you.
I'll tell you why. Because I'm not a huge fan of PPTs. Okay, because
I
I
know,
don't
I
want
know,
to
I
put
know,
something and then read
I,
it, because
I know, I
anyone
know.
can just read what's on the
Yeah,
screen.
true.
So I talk and then I write, I draw, and then I just go back to my PPT to refer.
Yeah.
Okay. So projects, we were talking about hands-on and then projects, right? So in K21, as well as I have been working with Atul for quite some time. So I have stressed enough that even if you have zero certification, if somebody tells that I know how to do it, but I don't have a certification to prove my skill set, I'll happily hire that person than a guy who has 4 or 5 certifications but has zero knowledge or skills. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to hire you and put you to work, not to showcase your certifications on LinkedIn. Okay. So, and the last thing is you got to be a forever student growth mindset, or a forward student mindset, because it's a fast-paced, evolving world. And I told you Kubernetes is the highest paid job since 2022-23. But by the time Kubernetes picks up or everybody starts adopting it, MLOps, AIOps, GitOps, and there will be like 5 other things which we are like going to be we will feel that we are left behind. So these are some of the things, but now I'll just walk you through, like, if whatever I just said, let's see if it is there in the slides. So the first thing is lack of practical experience. You need to have hands-on hands-on demos, probably build some cloud resume, which K21 team can assist you. Because if you go for an interview, it happened with my interview in Microsoft. Like they asked me all these, what is load balancer? How do you do that? How do you migrate and all that thing? And then they were like, Gokul, what else do you do? I said, I make YouTube videos. like, what kind of YouTube videos do you make? I said, I teach my friends on cloud migrations and cloud technology, and then I record it and publish it on the YouTube. So if somebody wants to relate to it or take it from there, they can also use it. Or I make everything public. They were like, wow, can you share your YouTube page link? There's hardly anything. I had like 20 subscribers or 25 subscribers, which means nothing. Okay. It's not about monetary remuneration or anything. But see, I had that attitude. Okay, whatever I'm teaching my friends, I'll just make a video and post it on YouTube, especially like how to create a VPN, how to do a migration. And if somebody wants to take it as a reference, they can do it. And that was impressive because it's not about like I'm good at it, but I'm good at it. I also want to help somebody else. So, and it's not, I'm not being that nicest guy who wants to help others. The more I teach or more I do it, it also helps me upskill myself. Okay, so
Sorry,
that's
sorry
the
to
first
interrupt.
thing. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt and Gokul that point. Okay, now I think you have said a very brilliant point. In fact, I'm going to cover this exact point tomorrow. How you
Okay.
can showcase not just by video. Video might be too much for
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
else. But the second bit, I said, even if you applied for the jobs, you're not getting interview call. What is the reason? I'm going to cover that tomorrow. Exact point, Gokul, you mentioned slightly different. I'll give you my history of my background and a bit very in short. 2006 or 2007, I started writing what I was learning. And just
Mhm,
because my first 6 years were very, very tough, there was no Google at the time. I think I started 2000, 2003, 2004. I was in India at the time. And people
mhm,
were very, and I joined a team of database administrators. They were 20, 15, 20 years experience guys, never used to share any knowledge. And because they used to think if they share the knowledge, I might become or might take their job or
mhm,
something like that.
mhm,
And my first 3, 4 years were very, very tough. Very, very like I was like kid and trying to learn from everyone. And I made a promise to myself, whatever I'm going through, no one will go. I don't want anyone to go through.
mhm,
2005 or 2004, I started writing blog, and whatever I was learning, I was sharing that. And that's when I started. People started reaching out. And 2005, when I started my freelancing journey, I started getting tons and tons of work. I got assignment to write a book. I wrote a book in 2000. I got multiple projects, and all the people who were writing me about left, right, center, they started giving me work. There a lot of work came to me for freelancing work by doing that. So I'll share that tomorrow. How to do you can achieve that as well. So very valid point,
Bang
Gokul.
on, Atul.
Sorry for digressing.
Because
Yeah,
no problem. You just continued what I was talking.
yeah.
So, making videos is one thing that I was actually doing. So I just used it for my interview. Okay, that kind of sold me. But what Atul said, keep writing or whatever you learned, publish it as a vlog, or it could be as simple as writing on LinkedIn to showcase that you know what I'm skilled on these things, so people notice you. It could be anything, but the base or the bottom line of all of it is you know what you're doing, not just talking part of it, or you just watched a video and then okay, yeah, now I watched it, probably I should be able to do it. You know what you're doing, you because you learned it and then you have practiced it. That's the first and most important thing. The second thing is, guys, multi-cloud is the norm. Okay, it's no more a like a standout point. Okay, where multi-cloud is more like a basics, and you don't have to be an expert in all the clouds, but you are, if you're good at one, you will be able to survive or sustain in the other clouds. I'll give you one more example of an interview that I attended for a huge PC maker. I didn't take the job because I joined another startup. So in that interview, I was a Azure guy at that time, 7 years ago. I only knew Azure. I've never worked on GCP or AWS. I went for the interview. He said, "Okay, I'm not going to ask you every questions and after question because I'm sure you'll be able to answer it. Just I'll give you 30 minutes. Come back to me with a plan to migrate 300 servers. List down all the questions that you have. I'll answer it, but give me the approach." I said, "Okay, I have done the Azure migration because that's what I was doing." Asked him all the questions, and then I gave him the solution. First thing he asked me is, "Why did you give me an Azure solution? Uh, did I ask you for an Azure solution? What if AWS is cheaper or better?" I was like, "I'm sorry, but I know only Azure. Just because you know something, you shouldn't shove it into them because they're coming to you for the best solution, the right solution. So at least have uh, some idea about the competitors that you're working with, like, because otherwise how will you say yours is better than somebody else's? Right, I know this, so that's the best. That makes no sense to anybody. Right, if I'm selling Azure, I need to know what AWS is good at, so I'll be able to at least talk to my customers to bring them from there, or making sure that they don't move from here to there. So when you do the hands-on projects or the practical application, do it in such a way that you get some exposure, at least to look, touch, and feel about the competitor services, not just on cloud. I'm talking about cloud because I work extensively on cloud, but I am good in Kubernetes and a little bit on DevOps also. But regardless of whatever it is, don't stick to that one size fits all. There is no such thing as one size fits all. Or if it is DevOps, Jenkins for everything, or Kubernetes for everything. Probably they don't need a microservices or a Kubernetes approach. Just because you're good at it or you want to get your hands dirty, don't propose that. So have this breadth of knowledge. Okay, depth you can always learn by doing it, but my experience is it's always good to have jack of all trades and master of none, because it is always better than master of one, rather than like I know nothing of anything else except that one tool. uh, it's just a
So,
continuation, so I'll
so
just
no,
skip it.
so just before I go, I'll take two
Sure.
two key takeaways from this. First is when you go for interview, and when someone asks you a question about this, don't simply just answer them. You can have a follow-up question. So let's suppose,
Yeah.
take an example. You want to implement an AI solution, and which services you'll use or what things you'll be using in AI. Just take an example of AI, for example. Now, rather than simply saying, I'll use this, ask a follow-up question and say, by the way, because you can't give a solution without diagnosing the problem, without knowing a little bit
True.
more about the client. And that also gives the confidence that guy knows about the stuff or having. So rather than making and just you have to answer immediately, you have a more questions, more discussions, more follow-up question, that so that it start the interviewer start thinking on that point, and that
True.
gives you confidence. So that's
And
very, very important. Sorry.
one more thing, Atul, what I have noticed is asking a questions by the interviewer, and then you have the answer, which is no more attractive these days, because anyone, I can download 50 interview question from ChatGPT and then go memorize it and go prepared for that. But
Yeah.
what I've noticed is they also get like impressed by the way you ask a question, what kind of questions you ask, because I'm trying to fool you by saying that, okay, help me with this, and I'll give you purposely only like 30% of the information that you need. So at least you need to know that you didn't get all the information from me. So probing is one of the most undervalued skills, not just to clear the interview, even after clearing the interview while you're working with the customers, whether it be a software project, DevOps project, migration project, deployments. Questioning, asking the right questions is going to save a ton of your time and money if you're working on projects, and it's going to guarantee you the job as long as you ask these useful questions. And guys,
I'll,
all these slides that I'm skipping, these are all some of the demos that you can actually practice and do it. Like it could be networking, it could be DevOps, CI/CD, MLOps, cloud deployments. So that's the first thing. Okay.
so
This,
we're going to, sorry, we're going to cover these and tomorrow. Or sorry, the last final day, we're going to go on roadmap. That's where we're going to go a little bit deeper. This is just again to show you that it's required. Now, Sakshi is saying, what is Terraform? Terraform is an
mm,
automation tool to automate the infrastructure within on-premise or cloud. So you build servers, network, storage, cloud, on-premise. You deploy machine learning models. You deploy the infrastructure. Anything that you do, you can automate. In fact, you can also do model deployment, AI, a lot of machine learning, all those things you can do it automate through Terraform. That's what it is. Okay. Does K2 cover how to create? Absolutely, yes, yes, we do, Cliff. So the question is about architecture diagrams. There is AI tools now available. We cover all those things. So anything that you need, again, anything that you need for to learn, implement, and do your job, as long as related to data, AI, cloud. Now, as an architect, you have to do the drawing. So, but there are nowadays AI tools available. You can use them. You can customize them as well. Okay, so if you're Cliff, you're already part of the program, just reach out to the team. There's a separate team who handles about architecture diagrams and so on. We have some projects as well coming. Over to you, Gokul.
no problem. So coming to the next thing, like first what we spoke is lack of practical knowledge, and why the second thing is, why doesn't someone have a lack of practical knowledge, or why are they not practicing it? Because they lack the fundamentals. They watch a YouTube video, it doesn't cover the basics, it doesn't cover the expert level, but it's more like an intermediate level. You understand bits and pieces of it, half-baked stories, and then you just go for the interview hoping that that's good enough, that 18 minutes or 30 minutes of video that you watched is good enough. So one of the things that I always believed, or what I tell my friends also who are in the same circle, is I don't want you to be an expert, but come with the basics, because if you have the basics, you can learn the rest of the things. Or if I talk to you about something, you'll understand what it is. Otherwise, head, tail doesn't make any sense to you, and you're going to be clueless. So make sure that if you're learning something, I spoke about the importance of having a mentor or a guide to point you in the right direction. The same way, whatever you're doing, make sure that you do it from the basics. If you're learning cloud, learn from networking. No, I'm not an networking expert. Then learn the basics of networking. And if you are doing anything, Terraform, cloud, DevOps, without Linux, you cannot survive in this tech world these days. So Linux is the basics. You come with some at least 100 commands that you know in Linux basics, so that the rest of the things will make sense. If I have to automate something, deploy something, backup, run some scripts, cron jobs, what are those? So start from the basics. Yes, everybody wants to grow fast, everybody wants to catch the bus, but without the fundamentals, you're going to struggle a lot. And when I say basics, these are the ones, the entire life cycle. What actually starts, where does it end, where what happens in between? Like these are something, but looking at this architecture, if you understand what's happening, that's half the problem solved. And something is not working, then at least you know where to look for. So that's why I'm saying, as much as I want you to have hands on, you will not be able to do hands on without the basics. And number three reason, uh,
Sorry, before we go, Gokul,
mm,
I just need to take a permission from everyone.
sure.
Guys, we are hitting the time. So we just
Mm,
need 10 more minutes. Guys, are you
yeah,
okay with the 10 minutes? So apologies for that. As I said, is again, I'm totally, I think, is everyone okay with 10 more minutes? Because I want to bring him and yeah, thanks. And apologies, guys, those who have to leave. Just give 10 more minutes and then I think
yeah.
we will be
I'll
good.
try my best to
Oh,
wrap
this
it
is
up
good
before
info.
10.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much. Yeah, no
no problem.
worries. Okay, no worries, Gokul. And I
Good.
will bring you back in maybe in weeks time, Gokul, when we see all the questions.
Sure.
I might, okay. Over to you. Yeah,
Understood.
Gokul.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Um, and guys, this one, not understanding DevOps and CI/CD pipelines. Why is this slide even here? We are not even talking about DevOps. What's the point of having? I kept telling you that you need to have the breadth of knowledge, right? Because now it's about growth mindset. I joined K21 or I picked up some Udemy courses or whatever, and then one service, I know everything, but that's not going to serve the purpose because in the interview itself, they're going to filter you out because you literally lack nothing else other than that one thing that you're good at. So if you work on anything, like the reason why we mentioned DevOps here is at least at any given time, you'll be working on 5 to 7 different tools: Jenkins, Kubernetes, Docker, Git, and then some kind of a Maven for build pipelines and GitHub Actions and many, many things. So be open-minded. Like, oh my God, am I going to live like this all my life? No, but just initial 12 to 18 months, at least be ready to stretch, keep feeding your brain as much as you can possibly, so that it kind of opens up. It's just like going to the gym. The first 20 days, first 40 days is the most difficult thing, but then it becomes a habit. So the more and more technology and the skills that you acquire, better it is, and you're going to be the irreplaceable one in the market. And this is just a simple CI/CD pipeline diagram. It's not even an architecture, but look at all the tools that one guy has to use to be good at what he is. And
Now, again, just want to
mhm,
said added it, there is now that same DevOps knowledge will use in future AI and machine learning because now
yeah,
same extension of that MLOps, like, but then a little bit
absolutely.
more, little bit more services, additional things as well. Over to you, Gokul. Yeah.
Yep. So, and somebody asked in the chat, right? I'm from the project management background. Guys, there is in the next few decades of maybe in few years, there will be no non-tech jobs. If you're a doctor, you still need to know how to fix your printer and lab reports, where to save it, cloud, how to access it. So if a life-saving job like a doctor and a fireman needs to be a technical person working in offices on project management, program management, there is no excuse for you to be non-techie. So even if you're in a project manager who's managing a project on cloud migration, how can you work with your stakeholders if you don't know what's happening behind the scenes? I'm not asking you to be an architect. I'm not asking you to be a person who can debug the Python code, but at least know what is a Python module, because that's what you're going to be working on. And then 6 months later, you're in a new project, which could be about e-commerce website. What happens behind the e-commerce website? You need to know. Unless that, you won't be able to do it. And I would say it's about the core capability, or basically, it's if you're a person who is into manufacturing. I'm a IT guy, right? I do solutioning. If I'm working with a steel plant, I need to know how the steel behaves at the temperatures and what are the things that they can actually automate. Unless I know that domain, it's called domain knowledge, then I won't be able to design a solution. No, no, no. I'm really good in AWS. No matter what the requirements are, I'll just design compute service that can actually process something. Like they'll be like, listen, my the thickness of the steel changes based on the temperature, and your machine cannot predict it. So I can be an ML ops engineer or a machine learning engineer. Unless I have the domain knowledge, I won't be able to survive there. So this is for people who are from non-technical background. Even if you're non-technical, have some technical knowledge about the areas that you're working on. It shouldn't be that that's not my scope of support. Just check with the other guy. Then we are just putting ourselves in spot. Then sooner or later we're going to be replaced by people who can do both.
Sorry, if you go
This
back
is
onto the no, so if you go back to the previous one, so I just want to add two more things. Now, for those, there is something called as AI for program managers, AI for leadership team, AI for project managers, AI for executive levels. So if you are, again, as I said, is there is a thing coming. If those who are part of AI and machine learning on those parts, there will be a thing coming which is about AI for project manager, AI for senior executives. Similarly, cloud for leadership roles. Now, cloud and AI both you need to know as a leaders, things might be slightly different. You don't need to go deeper, as I said, the code part, but maybe what are the touch points that you happen. So those are who are already inside the program, please reach out. We'll be reaching out to you about leadership and those project manager, program manager roles, and product manager roles as well. Over to you. Let's continue with Gokul. Yeah,
absolutely.
thanks.
So what Atul just mentioned about ML for project manager is on the same lines what I told you. You're not going to be a AI architect or a data scientist or an ML engineer who will design the robots and how it can do the neural networks. But at least when you're working with people who does that, you can connect with what they're saying. And this is specifically on the data structures or the programming interview, guys. Like these days, it's no more about question and answer. They'll just give you some console and say that these are the challenges that we're facing, go fix it. There are many, many online platforms. One of the most popular one is Leet Code, LEETCODE, where you have some simulators where based on the levels, 100, 200, 300, you can take complex problems and then solve it, which again is domain specific or the programming language specific for what kind of roles that you're trying for. And it also comes down to the hands-on experience, okay, where if you see, we are just circling around at least these five, six pillars, which if you have those in perfect shape, then it's pretty easy to crack an interview. And while all of it was done about like how do you fit into a role and how can you be replaceable, the STAR method, I'm sure majority of you know it. STAR stands for the situation, task, and action, and the results.
Who's knew about it already? Who were you always say was aware or not aware before this? Are you following that when you're preparing for interviews? Aware, and were you using that in your interviews? So a lot of guys know it, but were you actually discussing and talking in that context as well? Not aware. Okay, couple of guys. Yeah, over to you, Google. Yeah, people
Okay,
are aware.
so
Let's see how many of you using
some
it.
of them are not. Okay. So when I'm asking you a question, hey, not about what is a load balancer or what is AWS, but if I ask you, Atul, in the last job that you are that you were part of in your current job, can you give me a scenario or a situation that you did something and that kind of had a major impact in your team or in your business? Could be financial impact, or it could be a process impact, or some kind of customer experience impact. When I ask scenario-based questions to Atul or for my candidates, what I'm expecting is give me some background about what was the problem, okay, and what were you asked to do or what did you do that actually made some meaningful impact, and then quantifiable or measurable impact that was able to saying that okay, 12% increase in customer satisfaction, 8% increase in the sales, some kind of a what was the results that I'm able to quantify. Okay, it's not like one day there was a problem and I solved it and he was happy, and that's something that I cannot forget. Like what problem? Why were the others not able to solve it? What did you do to solve it? Or give me something that you did and major impact due to the efforts that you put in. So make it in a star methodology. Give me a scenario. Okay, this was the scene, and then these were the action items that we had to do, and I did so and so, due to which the results have actually gone up by so and so percentage. Or it could be revenue if you're from the analysis or some kind of a finance teams, then it could also be increase in revenue or recurring revenue or something like that. So this is after you get the call. once you're in the interview, when they ask you a scenario-based question. But because I said you have to ask the right question, because I said it has to be in star method, don't use a star method even for a yes or no question. Hey, have you done a cloud migration? In my previous job, there was a scenario where we had to migrate 200 machines. Just say yes and go to the next one. So star is how you respond to scenario based or analytical thinking. They're asking you to come up with your own scenario, like how many red cars they are there on the road at the moment in Bangalore. Like no, like these are some questions that you'll find on the internet, like Google Ask and AWS Ask. So try when you have something that you have to explain, like an open-ended question, then use star methodology when you're responding.
Just one tip on that point. So when you go for interview, when let's suppose interview schedule based on
Mhm.
job description, prepare yourself one or two situations like that
Yes.
in the context of the old client which you have worked on the similar situation. Even if they don't ask you the question, maybe when they talk about introduction, maybe give a little bit brief about what you have done something similar. These
Mm.
are another things which you're going to cover in future sessions, about one or two questions you can always expect. So may prepare yourself on that. Those points important, very important. Over to you, Gokul. Yeah.
Thank you. So the other thing is be as realistically honest as possible. Don't bluff because the other person knows whether you know the answer or not because he is asking you something that he knows very well. So if you don't know, you can be as honest as you can to tell them that this is what it is, or you can even say that this is what you have worked on, and probably if you could give me some time, I'll do some research because these days it's no more about closed book interviews, Atul, where they ask you to design the architecture, they ask you to take 30 minutes, I'll have a glass of tea or something, and then come back in 30 minutes. It's open book, do all the research and give me the solution. That's how at least AWS interviews were, that's how Google interviews were, that's how Microsoft interview was. It's no more about sitting in front of the webcam and then I ask you 10 questions. Okay, 10 questions is done, clear to the next round. That's it's going to be completely replaced sooner or later. Do you have any questions? Okay, last thing. Okay, I want to give you a few tips, guys. I'll just share my screen. Do you
Yeah.
still see my screen, Google
Yes,
Chrome?
yes,
And
yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah.
So this is actually my Amazon account, and you see that currently there are 46 applications that I was rejected for, but there were over 102 or 103, and it got archived, most of them, though, because those roles doesn't even exist. So that's because I kept applying for irrelevant roles in the first place, and then I started working as an architect. I started applying for the relevant roles, and Atul did cover how to get the calls by making sure that the resumes were correct, right? Because damn, mm, kind of mix and match of what I was doing. So I got some responses. Interview did go well, but I didn't get cleared. And I withdrew some jobs, and most of them are like no longer under consideration because I was just click left, right, and center. Something that I've learned from my experience is when you're applying for a job in LinkedIn, especially or in Naukri, apply for jobs that are less than 24 hours, posted 20 less than 24 hours, because the job that I have in Microsoft, that's how I got it. Uh, it was posted a few hours ago. I know they're actively recruiting, applied, and I followed what was covered 45 minutes back by Atul. Find the LinkedIn contact who posted the job, reach out to him, tell them that you have applied for this job. This is my resume. Do you have any reservations based on my profile for this role? So they actually feel this guy is serious. It's not that he's just going on a applying spree all over the world. So that actually they genuinely felt that I'm putting in that effort, following up on this right job for the right profile, and I'm asking them what's happening, what's the next thing. So they actually got some confidence, and then it went on. During the interview, the star topology method, and then I telling them that I have a YouTube channel where I keep posting some videos once in a while. So they felt, okay, this guy is interesting. It's not about he needs a job for money, but probably he's also doing something even when he didn't have the money. So these are the things that you got to do, guys. And on the call, my videos or my GitHub account where I keep working on something, cloning somebody else's repository. These are all the projects that you do, right? Like you can just go show your repository. This was a project that I did, and this is actually a CI/CD pipeline that I created. Nobody is stopping you from doing it. Share your screen, tell yourself because you need money. They have 100,000 people like you if you get rejected, there is another guy who's equally good or better than you. But for you, whether it is 250K or 100K or a job that pays you every month, we need that job. But they have so many people. Like even I have a friend who runs a startup. Okay, they have 5 employees. They posted a DevOps engineer role, and I expected not even 200 people will apply. Within a day, they had like 850 applications. The demand is so much that the opportunities are there, but there's so many people equally talented as we are. So the only thing is, be sensible, grab the opportunity if you get it with both the hands, and sell yourself. And to do that, make sure that you have everything that we have spoken, or you have ocean of knowledge, information, and internet, YouTube, academies like K21, and people like me who had failed so many times, and then now I have a stable life. So things like this, use it, and that way you can also just sail through it, and you can return the same favor to your mentees when they need some help. So that's it from my side, Atul. I know I took extra 3 more minutes,
No,
but
no, no,
I
no. I
wanted
think
to be.
you did brilliant, brilliant work, guys. I just want a rating between 1 to 10, 0 to 10. 10, how would you rate it? And then again, any questions you have, we're going to take the questions. I just need to few minutes. Yes, we'll share the LinkedIn. Deepak, don't worry. We'll share again. By please be mindful. I've shared his LinkedIn and everything opened up. You don't bother him too much. Just a normal, humble request, please. As I said, that's a promise I made. And again, I am very nervous to open up the guys because then people start bombarding them with those. So be respectful of his time as well, please. Yeah, very insightful. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks. Now, as I said, so this is just how to market yourself. I have tons and tons of tips because I've done myself, because I demand very high rate. You won't even believe amount. I don't share because of multiple reasons now. Because some guys have done in the past is they've reached out to my clients with my name and said, look, you're paying to this much to this guy. We demand that as well, and a little bit nervousness. Okay, for me. So anyway, just coming to the point, how to market yourself on LinkedIn. We'll be talking that about tomorrow, and something that don't want to miss. Also, the exact roadmap, depending on different situations you want to do. And as I said, is I'll take 5 more minutes. If you have 5 more minutes, I'll talk about, as I said at the start, anyone, because a lot of guys reached out into my team and to me personally or to my team as well, on they want to talk to someone in my team to see whether this is right thing for you. They want to go deeper and work with me. So are you okay if I present it for just 5 more minutes, and then we'll wrap it up for a day, and then we'll take the question? Are you okay? Just put the chat window if you're okay. Yes, Deepak is saying, are you okay for 5 more minutes about that call? It's absolutely free, but also there is a commitment required on that point. Yes, okay. I'll take few minutes. As I said, this is something I'm not going to repeat it. I've mentioned earlier as well. So this is the whole objective of to hit a 250K salary, but not everyone is right for 250K. Some might be 120, some might be 180 or 200, and some might be 250 plus. My objective is to find out the best guys whom I can help and guaranteed result. And what I mean by guarantee is guaranteed result. As long as you are committed to that, you will get result. My success rate is 93% right now, which means out of 100 guys come, 93 gets. Not 7, not because of, again, I don't want to be rude to them or to do. A lot of guys either change their mind or think, oh, it's work. Of course, there'll be work required, but results are amazing. It's changed my life. And as I said, for me, the freedom. More than money now, it's about the freedom that I deserve. So how to do work closely? I only have 21 seats. I limit it. As I said, I'm not going to repeat. I've mentioned about the success of tons and tons of, in fact, so many. I get like sometime I think it sounds like bragging or show off, nothing. So I'm not going to repeat them as well for results and so on. And you'll see that as you come inside later. So it's an entire job and mentorship coaching for how to get a 250K plus salary. Now, as I said, even if you're not ready for 250K, aim that I might be 100K right now. So maybe up from 100K directly 250K not be possible. I would be realistic as well, but 100K. And then I'm going to go to 150 or 170, 180 is easily doable. From 170, 80 to maybe 220, 230 is doable. From 200 to maybe 260, 270 is doable. 300K, and I have guys who have done 300, 350K as well. So read out this offer doc, which is k21academy.com/offer. There's a page. This will take you to the Google Doc. So let me show it to you. Read out thoroughly first to see what exactly we are delivering as a part of the promise I made. Because I want you to say there's a work requirement, will be fun. It's like go at a pace you're comfortable. So read this document on what is all about, and especially go thoroughly, maybe one time, twice. list down all the questions you have, and then everything, the different phases we are going through, what we are learning, who this is for and who it is not for as well. Also, I don't want to entertain any wrong guys, because that hurts me, because any wrong person, first of all, I'd not be able to help someone who deserve that. And second is, it takes a lot of effort on my part as well. So once you're happy, go at the bottom and book a call on this button here, book a call with my team. But please go through this first. Now, so there are only 21 seats, because time is the most important currency for me. And I want to make sure that someone comes, they have 100% success rate, guaranteed success rate, they will get it, the result that you're coming for. So highlight what your results you want, what your current situation is, and put it as well. So, and once you have done that, there's a form you need to fill. So you click on this link. You can directly go on this link as well. So AIDC, but make sure that you read that as well. And then there's a set of questions. There's a time available. I only have one or two guys who will be taking questions, understanding your situation, and they'll work with me and they will tell me whether we can help you or not help you. We're not going to give they might understand, ask the questions, and they will probably require connect with me and tell you. So make sure you answer all the questions correctly, because that's where we'll decide should we take it or not take you. Also, the one important thing which I is definitely submit your LinkedIn fully, so I can see based on your profile whether we can help you or not. And then, so LinkedIn profile is very, very important. Answer as brief, as detailed as you can. So the very detail you do, and it'll be helpful for us. So we'll be taking you from not confident to apply for the jobs, to no interview call or no job offer, any of them, to being confident and getting multiple interview calls, and then converting into multiple job offers. You can decide what you want to work. And these are the framework we're going to do as well. So with that, I'm going to take one or two questions. Those who want to stay, I'll be taking some questions. And if not, as I said, read out this. Let's take the questions. And Gokul, do you want to take a question? I know I've put up your time, so you can pick one or two questions of your choice, or you want to leave. That's also fine, because I said I don't want to overkill you for that point. It's late for
Uh,
you. Yeah.
okay, Atul, it's already 10:30.
Yeah. So I think you carry on. Don't worry. So I'll
All
list
right.
down all the questions. I'll connect with you separately tomorrow
Sure,
or
sure.
next 1 2 days.
Anytime.
Okay.
We can connect again.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very, very much, Gokul,
Welcome.
and all the best.
Bye.
And thank you. Okay. So guys, as I said, I think I might take 5 or 6 minutes. Atisha, can you take one or two quick questions from here, whatever you want to pick? Okay. I think Cliff, I've answered your question. Yes. How to do diagrams that we have done. Yes, absolutely. Let me pick up. Okay. I can see the questions now here. Sof is saying, is Kubernetes demand? I don't see a job. There are plenty of jobs. Kubernetes is hugely popular. So if you simply go on, I think I just might have to connect the VPN. So just type Kubernetes or containers or Azure Kubernetes, AWS Kubernetes, EKS. You'll see tons and tons. So every job I see is a lot of jobs. Yeah. Available. Yes, absolutely. Revan is saying, I asked this yesterday, but I just want to be clear. I'm currently work as in Canada. So currently my job is how I'm able to pay my bills. So currently my job is how I'm able to pay my bill. Fine, but I would like to do K2 Academy in my free time. But I just want to ask my question to be clear. 1 second. The course curriculum is self-paced and live sessions, but on average, how long does it take to get through the course material? Now, again, uh, answer lies to how deep you want to go. So we have the start with basics and go deeper and deeper and deeper. So again, this is not something, or in IT, there's nothing like, or you start and you finish and you're done and you never learn. It's a constant learning, but objective should be, your question should be, how much time it will take me to get a job? And now, instead of you asking me how long it will take, it will down to how much effort you put in. So you tell me how much time you have or how much time you do, and then I'll give you the plan. And that's why I said it's a customized one, where you decide what is the timeline you have, and we'll build the program around you that time, so you learn at your own pace, because there is no fun on if you do something with the stress. I want to do something if it's really not desperate. So do what is comfortable to you. My promise is within 6 months or less you'll get a job. So if you want to do it in 6 months, I think I'll say a couple of hours every day, and then 1.5 hours, maybe 5 to 6 hours in a week is good enough to have that. But then I don't want to do everything. I want you to stay focused and do what will give you a job, and we'll customize plan for you on that point. So I think I've mentioned question number one. Um, I think I've mentioned that. Question number 2 is, I know you help with the resume building, LinkedIn optimization, etc. So my question is, how do you also help in finding a job? Okay, now we are teaching you how to hunt. We'll not hunt for you, which means we'll tell you, do this, this is to do to find the job. But then I want you to be knowing all the skills that we know, we pass on, so you never stay hungry. So let me repeat one more time to explain it. And then if you have a follow-up question, let me know. Which means we teach you how to find a job, how to reach out to that, and we'll explain you everything, and you're going to do it with us. And once, and then you're on your own to find out. If you're struggling, if you're not able to find, then you come and ask. So we're teaching you how to hunt. We are not hunting for you. We're not going to say, oh, here's a job and now apply. Here's a job, apply. No. And I don't think that's the right approach to do. And you should never work on that model. You should always know how to do the task, because again, maybe 2 years later, 3 years later, 5 years later, you will need to have hunt out down the new, bigger, higher paid job as well. Okay, I think I'll take up, there's a book call. My team will help you and answer all the questions you have on this one. So um, when can we commence the course labs? Immediately. I think once you know the basics, you can start. I think my is I learn by doing the stuff. So so my implementation is when I learn, when I do, that's when I learn. So I start from day one itself with the basic labs and then go deeper and deeper. So with that, on the concept of time, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll take 1 or 2 questions by unmuting. So anyone put your hand up, and then we'll wrap up after that, please. And also give me thumbs up and say, are you happy? Did you learn something new? Just type, did you learn something new? Yes or no. And was it good session? Was your last 1.5 hours spent wisely spent or not? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Atisha, is you there? No.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See if there's anyone wants to have. So Chris, we are not giving the lab link right now here. If you're part of the program, team will give you. I need to first see whether we can take you or not. Yep. Okay. Whether you're right fit for or not. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that labs and everything tomorrow. Okay. There are plenty. I think for every task you do, there is a lab. So you don't need to worry about labs or project. It's my responsibility. When I'm promising something, it's my responsibility to make sure that you become an expert in the domain.
I want to ask a question.
Oh yeah, sure, please. Sorry, I
Yeah.
can't see anyone, so let me stop it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, sorry, I wanted to
No,
ask how much is it going to cost to pursue the course, the training?
I think you need to book a call. We need to first see that whether you take it or not. Okay, so I don't want to reveal something or tell something. If you're not fit, there's a waste of time for you and me.
Okay.
But it's not
Okay.
cheap. It's not cheap. I would be very transparent. It's not cheap. It's one of the probably on the higher expensive sites as well. So be
Okay.
careful.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, one thing we promise is that you'll make 10 times of your investment minimum. 10 times of investment, but it's not because we put a lot of effort into those ones. Okay. Anyone else? Atisha, let's wrap it up. I think I'm also late for me. So we'll catch up and so tomorrow, guys, don't want to miss tomorrow. I'm going to give the exact roadmap. And I also said that one thing, even if you're applying, you're not getting interview call. There's another thing which is sticking, and how to build a marketing engine around your profile so that recruiters reach out to you, employers reach out to you, not the other way. Also, as I said, also we'll be talking about the learning path and the roadmap with at a different level, beginner to more advanced, list of hands-on lab and the project work. We're going to go deeper. You don't need to do all of them, but we'll give you everything that has helped not just me, but hundreds and thousands of individuals as well. Big thank you for being here. Can't wait to help you tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to cover and close this all 360-degree so you have full clarity. With that, thank you everyone for being here and sticking to, and sorry again for being late. Next time I'll advertise as a 90-minute class. Okay. Thank you everyone. Take care.